Welcome to Coffee Break with Rachel V. Hill, presented by Superbook Sports. Taking a daily look at the biggest stories in Denver sports and interacting live with you, the Coffee Break fam. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of joe, and enjoy your coffee break. Here's your host, Rachel V. Hill.
Can everybody hear me now? Hopefully, I really hope that you can hear me now. We actually got some new equipment in the studio, you guys. So, of course, something always has to go wrong, but this is supposed to make it bigger and better moving forward. So, hopefully, you can hear me. Let me know in the comments if you can. It will be scary when you say Jerry Jeudy is staying in Denver. I definitely think that is going to be the case as well. All right, let's start off the show. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for hanging with us for just a short minute. Again, it's spooky, right? It's Halloween time. So happy Halloween to everybody. Happy trade deadline day. I have to really do a quick shout out because it is my niece's 8th birthday. So of course I want to wish her a happy birthday. And if you're a fan of Denver sports, it's also James Marilat's birthday. So make sure you go give him a huge happy birthday wish. Will the Broncos be making any moves today? That's going to be the big question. We got people watching Twitter left and right to see if we're going to hear any moves be made by the Denver Broncos. Plus, you guys, we have to know, was it a $5 bill or a $100 bill that Russell Wilson was handing out last night at the Nuggets game? Plenty to get into. Like I said, happy Halloween. If you're dressing up, let me know in the comments what you are going to be wearing. I want to say, we didn't really talk about this too much on the show yesterday. Kirk Cousins, it's official. His Achilles is torn. You guys, I am breaking for Kirk Cousins. Also, in case you missed it, there was a tweet that had gone out yesterday about somebody who they were at a birthday party or a Halloween party of some sorts, and Kirk Cousins was there, and he's got his leg up on the scooter, and he's still signing autographs for people. And I think that just really shows who Kirk Cousins is. And it really, I feel for the Vikings, man. They're about to get back Jefferson. Everybody's really excited about them. They were finally kind of on the uprise, and then Kirk Cousins tears his Achilles. I feel for him. I really connected with him on the season of quarterback. I'm also really sad that there's no season 2, that none of the other quarterbacks wanted to do it. Besides the point. But we all saw the video of his leg, and you could see where it just had snapped. And I just feel for Kirk Cousins. It sounds bad, but it's good news for the Broncos as they're going to play the Vikings here in a couple of weeks. But that's a huge bummer for them. Other kind of random news that is going on around the trade deadline. They're not expected to trade Davante Adams out there in Las Vegas. Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for Davante Adams, you guys. I can't even begin to explain. First of all, he wanted to go to Las Vegas to play with Derek Carr. Derek Carr leaves Vegas, and now we all should have known that this offense was not going to be very good, but it's such a bummer, and I can see the frustration. And honestly, they should just get rid of him if they can. There's tons of teams out there that need a wide receiver. Trade Davante Adams. Let him go. Let him be free. Let him find a better, greener pasture somewhere else. So I feel bad for him. Also, people are talking about, is Derrick Henry going to get traded? Maybe I'm seeing into the future. Does everybody remember when I told Richie, I was like, Derrick Henry is not with the Titans? And he was like, Rachel, yes, he is. Maybe I'm seeing into the future, everybody, and he is going to get traded. Maybe I'm just trying to figure out a way to make myself feel better about that one too. Now, according to the Broncos, This is the one they're not going to be making any trades. They're going to pick up the phone because it's a professional thing to do. But Jerry Jeudy's the top name that's coming out of the Broncos headquarters for who's going to be traded out there. I'm curious, and I'm running a poll over there on YouTube. If you're watching, let me know. Are you going to be disappointed if the Broncos don't make any moves? 53% of people are saying no right now. Everything has changed beating the Chiefs, which I just think is crazy. 5 days ago, 6 days ago, we were all talking about how everything needs to blow up. And so many people still want that to happen. But so many people are like, hey, they beat the Chiefs. Like, things are looking better. They're talking playoffs. Do I think that the Denver Broncos are going to make the playoffs? I really don't. And that's just my honest opinion there. But lots of people are like, you beat the Chiefs. What's next? What can't you do? Can you go in there and, dismantle a, kind of bad Bills team? I know that sounds weird to say because we've been talking so highly about the Bills for so many years, but it doesn't seem like the Bills are the exact same team that they were. So, and Josh Allen, I don't know, Monday night's a little bit of sketch. He's kind of a coin flip, but then you look at some of the other games and it's just like, can they possibly do it? I don't know. But will Jerry Jeudy get traded? It's a question I don't have the answer to, but I think he is the top name coming out of there. Cecil Lammey obviously doesn't think he's going to, so that's a little scary for him. And did the price of Jeudy go up after the game on Sunday? He had a great game. We saw his touchdown dance. Some people are saying that wasn't a touchdown. I thought it was pretty clearly a touchdown. Let me know if you think so in the comments. But I don't know. I think they really want a first-round pick for Jerry Jeudy, and I definitely don't think that that's him. Even though he had a touchdown, he still only had like 50 yards. Like, we're talking about wide receiver number 1, and he's got 50 yards. That's not worth a number 1 or a number 2, maybe a number 3 in my personal opinion. But I don't know. I don't know if Jerry Jeudy is even worth a third at this point. And I don't think that they're going to get any offers. And we've heard, somebody's picked up the phone and called about Jerry Jeudy. Great. Are they asking for like a 5th or a 6th? Like, is that what they're willing to give for Jerry Jeudy? Because I just don't see anybody else picking up the phone and saying, oh yeah, we're going to give you a really good deal on Jerry Jeudy. I don't know. Unpopular opinion. That touchdown could have easily been overturned. Cecil Lammey, tell me in the comments right now, why could it have easily been overturned? Jeudy carelessly bobbled the ball, could have been overturned. I see what you guys mean, but at the same time, like, he had his 2 feet down and he had possession. The ball didn't move on those 2 feet, so I'm very curious. I would love to see the Broncos buy. We need O-line help. Thoughts? Yeah, they need O-line help. I don't think getting somebody right now, I think you're looking at the draft for that. And there's a lot of talk right now about the draft capital and where they're going to land. But I think right now, currently, they hold the 9th pick in the NFL draft this upcoming year. So Cecil Lammey will actually be the one to tell us if it's a really good O-line draft. And I actually think it is. I think that there's some pretty big names coming out of it. So there's where I think you can get your O-line help. I don't think that buying right now could do it. Unless you're really trying to move up, 3-4 picks in the draft. Obviously, the Bears are trying to make some moves. Holy crap with that trade this morning, too. So, I don't know, you guys. I don't. He did not have possession when the football was out of bounds. He doesn't want to be here, my opinion. I thought that touchdown dance made him kind of show that he was a little bit excited, but maybe he's excited because, yeah, he helped his draft capital just a wee smidge. I'm reading some more of your guys' comment. Let's see. Ryan Tannehill to the Vikings. Rachel, we don't need any more competition in the wide receiver trade market. Okay. I am sad about Kirk. After watching quarterback, I was pulling for him way more than Mahomes. He was just such a dude. Like, when they were talking about his shirt being from Kohl's and everything, and like, he was just such a dude. I really feel for Kirk Cousins, you guys. It honestly makes me really, really sad. We will revert back to the old Broncos after the deadline has passed. And that's where a lot of people right now are kind of frustrated, is saying, hey, we have this false sense of hope, and then all of a sudden it's going to come crashing down. And what? Then the Broncos go back to stinking and they win maybe 3 more games, and then they should have sold and tried to make more trades and get more picks. The other thing I kind of find to be fascinating is, and Adam Schefter had said this, I believe on the morning show, or maybe it was The Drive a couple weeks ago. where he said it's so funny because right around this time and like today, picks are like the end all be all. Like everybody's like really, oh, I'm not going to give you this one. Like I'm going to hold on to this third round pick. But the closer you get to the draft, they're like, oh, you get a pick. You get a pick. Here we go. You get a pick too. So maybe you do just kind of hold on and you see what can happen as you get closer to the draft. And obviously the new year's going to start soon too. So I'm fascinated because I know we all kind of get onto the hype of how the trade deadline looks, but maybe, just maybe, hold off, see what you actually have in this Denver Broncos team, because it really does feel like, you guys, people are buying into this Sean Payton stuff. I don't know about all of you, but it does just feel like all of a sudden they bought in. They bought into what was going to happen with the Denver Broncos, with Sean Payton, with his plan. Things felt very different. And of course, that always happens after a win, but things just felt different. And maybe it's finally time that everybody has bought in. The plan is starting to go into place. Everybody's kind of finding their different roles and the communication. Justin Simmons had talked about that on Sunday after the game. He was like, the biggest difference we did for the defense was the communication that we were doing. Even if it was the smallest things, that was helping a ton. Now, I still think personally, and don't get mad at me, everybody, the Broncos have a Russell Wilson problem. But it's not like you're going to go trade Russell Wilson today or anything like that. And obviously, Broncos country was pretty happy with him because he got a loud cheer at the Nuggets game last night. And I have to know, you guys, I tried so hard to try and zoom in because some people were saying that he donated $5. I actually think we have the video. Let me see if we have the video so I can pull it up for you. Here we go. He is donating to this little girl is out trick-or-treating at the game. It's so cute. He pulls out his wallet. He's like, all right, I'm going to give you some money for this little girl. Rocky's, of course, like, hey, Russ, fork something up over here. And I tried so hard to zoom in because everyone was saying it was just a $5 bill. And then some people were like, oh, that's a $100 bill. You guys, I tried so hard. Can anybody tell me? Let me see if we can pull this up too. Can anybody tell me if you thought it was a $5 bill or if you thought it was just a $100 bill? Like, I'm actually so invested in this because I just find it hard to believe that he would give a $5 bill, but maybe that's all the man had in his wallet. I don't know how that all works, but you tell me on this very blurry picture, because it's the only screenshot I could get that even came close to telling me what it could be. Is it a $5 bill or is it a $100 bill? Let me know what you think because I'm really honestly just curious. This is one of the most fascinating things to me. I'm like, everybody in the comments on Twitter last night or on X was talking about if it was a $5 bill, a $100 bill. And I'm just like, this is the point we've come to when we're talking about the quarterback of the Denver Broncos. What kind of money? Gonna check out some of your guys' comments because, of course, also 57% of people are saying no, they do not care if the Broncos sell, or they will not be disappointed if the Broncos do not sell or buy today. It was a monopoly bill. Yes, I love that so much. He can afford to give 100. Ever since we traded Randy Gregory, the Broncos got better and the 49ers got worse. Yeah, that's a little unfortunate for Randy Gregory. I won't lie. All of a sudden you think you're going to this powerhouse team, which don't get me wrong, 49ers still definitely are going to be playoff contenders, at least in my eyes. But that does suck. All of a sudden you're going from a losing culture to a losing culture again. It's definitely a bummer. All right, you guys. It was a busy night, though, for Russell Wilson because, one, he goes to the Nuggets game, and then, two, he had the Halloween party. Let me know if you can identify all of the Broncos in their costumes. Russell Wilson had posted this on his Twitter this morning, the Broncos Halloween party. Russell Wilson dressed up as Coach Prime. Should we at all be surprised? I don't think so. I think he looks good. An easy costume for sure. Bring out the cowboy hat, bring out the Prime sweatshirt. But who can tell me some of these other players? I thought Jerry Jeudy was in here, but then somebody else was telling me, no, this is definitely not Jerry Jeudy at all. Cortland Sutton, you see him. Lots of other names in there too. I'm going to play one more time. You tell me if you can identify one of the Bronco players on this list. Let's see. I think that's Baron Browning too over there. I don't know who the guy in like the avatar looking thing is. So maybe you can tell me who that one is. That's one where I'm like very caught off guard. Anytime there's a mask, I'm like, yeah, I'm screwed. Like I cannot figure that out for the life of me at all. So any idea who any of those guys are? Let me know in the comments if you can guess anybody besides the obvious one in the Coach Prime too as well. Also, random question. That's Halloween candy. What is that? Also, are we in or are we out on candy corn? Personally, I love me some candy corn, but I also learned this morning that candy corn is made with the same ingredient as dental floss. And ever since I learned that, I'm like, maybe I can never eat this again. Like, there's vanilla and all sorts of stuff on it, but there's actually no vanilla or anything like that nature in actual candy corn. So I was in on candy corn, but maybe after today learning about the dental floss thing, I'm kind of out. Also, my favorite candy, it used to be peanut butter cups. And ever since I had COVID previously, I lost some of my taste that came with that. And so I can no longer eat peanut butter the same. So I'm no longer a peanut butter cup girl, but it's the gummy bears for me. Do we all remember like the tiny little containers of gummy bears? And it was like the gold packaging. And anytime you saw it in like somebody's bowl, you were like, that's the one I'm going to get. Even if you have to dig all the way down because you just saw like a little corner of it, that was me, 110%. So I'm curious, are we in or are we out on candy corn? Candy corn V Hill. Yes. Oh, somebody said it's $20 that they handed out. Justin Simmons, Tim Patrick, Cortland Sutton, Lutz, Kareem Jackson, Jerry Jeudy. So somebody did think that they saw Jerry Jeudy in there because I wasn't 100% sure in that video. I'm hopeful. I'm actually really hopeful because I feel like that means the chemistry is really good. There's no drama inside the locker room. Like that can be a major thing for this Denver Broncos team too, as you come off a win, things are good, and there is no drama because when you have the starting record that the Broncos did, there's a really easy way for there to be some sort of drama. So I'm really happy to hear that. Also, did you all hear that Russ is near the top 10 in quarterback categories when it comes second in touchdown to interception ratios, fourth in touchdown passes, fourth in passer rating, and he's tied for first in fourth quarter comebacks? That's pretty good for a quarterback. But tell me this, when we have all these really high stats, what are your eyes telling you guys? When you watch Russell Wilson, what are your eyes telling you? He dropped back to pass 33 times on Sunday, and Denver averaged 3.5 yards per play when he did. It's not great by any means, I don't think. I'm curious what you guys have to say about it. I can't get behind the fact that every single time I watch Russ, I'm kind of like, one, is he stat padding? And that's one of the big questions when it comes to a lot of this stuff is he stat padding? When there's so many times where you're just like, Russ, just throw away the ball. And then all of a sudden he gets sacked. But it looks much better for his percentage at the end of the game that, oh, he wasn't 19 of 39 or whatever it is because he threw the ball away. And instead he just took a sack. But that doesn't exactly help your team. And that's where I'm kind of getting frustrated with Russell Wilson too, is I want him to not care about the stats. And we heard rumors, even when he was back in Seattle, that he would care about the stats. And so I didn't believe it when we saw that article come out about how he really does care about all of those type of things, and it always helps. So anytime I see these kind of stats where it's like, oh, he's fourth in passer rating, he's second in touchdown and interception ratio, fourth in touchdown passes, fourth in passer rating, like I said, I'm like, okay, that's great, but does he care too much about some of those things? And the touchdown to interception ratio it's great. Like I'm happy to hear, that he's able to get some of the balls in the end zone. But at the exact same time, like on the game on Sunday, you guys, if the defense and special teams hadn't made the plays that they made, they wouldn't have had the touchdowns they did. And to be honest, that game should have been way, way, way higher scoring than it actually was. So I get frustrated when I'm like, Russell Wilson, I just need you to not care about this. And maybe it's just me. And actually, let's do a poll on this because I'm curious. Do you guys notice Russ? And sometimes it does feel like he cares more about his stats than he does actually about, where the guys are going to end up with the ball or something of that nature. I'm curious. So I want to run this poll with you guys. Also, going back one more time to our last poll, 52% of people will not be disappointed if the Broncos didn't make moves. That's really, really close to 50%. So let's go to this really quick. Start a poll. Does it sometimes feel like Russell Wilson, I'm just going to put Wilson, cares too much about his stats? Yes or no? I'm really curious how you guys are going to answer this one, actually. Russ, to me, still isn't seeing 100% of the field. I agree with that. And that's because of his height. And we see that the balls get hit quite often and he's not able to. And I told you guys yesterday this was the most frustrating thing to me. There were so many times where it felt like Russell Wilson had locked in on somebody that he was going to throw the pass to. And then all of a sudden he's moving like 10 inches and you're like, Russ, Why didn't you just stick with option number one and then it wouldn't even come back and like the Broncos would go 3-and-out or whatever it was? Like I got so frustrated, especially with Courtland Sutton. I thought Courtland Sutton was going to be like throwing hands like at halftime because it was like, what are you doing? I saw you connect with him like twice, like look almost directly at him, it seemed like, and then you didn't throw it to him. I got so frustrated with it. And I felt like that was Troutman too. We saw that a few times. Yes. 57% of people are saying yes right now on that poll. Let's see. He holds the ball too long and he gets sacked. 100% he does hold on to the ball too long and he does get sacked. But it's like, Russ, at that point, just throw the ball away. You got the arm, so just throw the ball away, please and thank you. Like, that's all we can ask for. I get frustrated with it because you just watch it and you're like, here we go. Here's going to get a sack. They're going to get backed up now 8 yards or whatever it's going to be when he could have just thrown it away and we could have started. And the yardage, too. It's just, it gets me really, like, angry, you guys. So the short passes, the low passes he's got, the offensive line isn't necessarily protecting him. And it sucks too because when Russ starts running, I'm actually like, oh, hey, like we might actually see a good play come out of Russell Wilson because he's very good at that on the fly ball movement. But it's just, I don't know. It kind of makes me frustrated watching him, and which is why I'm also like, all right, what are you going to do come the end of the season? Are you going to be able to sell off his contract or just get rid of it and you're going to eat the money that's going to be owned? Or are people going to start buying in on Russell Wilson? Is Sean Payton going to buy in on Russell Wilson? Why did it take players so long to buy into Sean Payton? Was it just because it was such a drastic change for what it was? And, they have to all learn this new system and it's the fine details. And maybe it's more complex than we thought. That was one of those things we all thought that the offense was going to be super basic. That was what Russell Wilson needed, was a super basic offense. But maybe it's not. Maybe we're not taking a deep of enough look at this offense as we should be. I'm curious your guys' thoughts on why it took so long for everybody to buy in, but it does feel like a momentum has shifted now to everybody's believing in Sean Payton, and beating the Chiefs, I definitely think can do that. Also, for everybody that was saying, including Justin Simmons, who got up there on the microphone on Sunday, he was like, oh, like everybody talks about how it's been 16 games since the streak was broken and yada, yada, yada. You cannot tell me that it did not mean more for guys like Justin Simmons to beat the Chiefs. I'm sorry. There's no way that you would be seeing these type of responses from other guys in the league. Like, we saw from Von Miller. He posted it on his story. He said, congrats to Courtland Sutton. We see Brandon McManus, who says, congratulations, Justin Simmons, incredible player that can finally celebrate beating the Chiefs. You cannot tell me that it did not mean more for some of those guys to beat the Chiefs. Like, I'm sorry. There's just no way that other players in the leagues would send out those things if they really didn't care about that kind of stuff. I just find that so fascinating. Like, it is okay to care about wanting to beat the Chiefs. The streak went on for so long. And I think it kind of disconnects you from Broncos country a little bit too, where you're like, oh yeah, like we didn't care about that. Well, Broncos country cares about it. Well, so many of us had been there for so long and watched all of the losses to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And guess what? Now it's not. They're on a 1-game winning streak against the Chiefs. It's totally okay to be okay with that too. I don't know, you guys. Baron Browning, of course, had an absolute day on Sunday. 4 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 2 sacks. You love to see it. And everybody, we need to give it up for Vance Joseph. That's just going to be it right now. He's great. They've only given up in past 2 games, 15.6 points per game against Patrick Mahomes. That's unheard of, you guys. Unheard of. 5 interceptions versus Patrick Mahomes. That's just freaking fantastic. Somebody that watches Patrick Mahomes, and don't get me wrong, I absolutely love Patrick Mahomes. I think he has been great for the game of football. I think he's been great for the city of Kansas City, as my fiance, some of you know, is from Kansas. So being able to see what he's been able to do out there, it's just been crazy. I do want to talk a little bit about the Nuggets too. I can't believe, you guys, no news coming out of the trade deadline at all. Like none. We've been watching Twitter. We've got other guys who are watching Twitter and we haven't heard anything else. Seems like it's being a very quiet Halloween. It's almost like we're getting played a joke or something like this. But we will talk a little bit about the Jokic and the Nuggets. They won against the Jazz last night and it wasn't pretty. I actually reached out to Jake Shapiro. You guys, I always go to him for any of my Nuggets info. I'm like, Jake, you tell me what you think, because he loves the NBA, loves the Nuggets too, and it's always great. So I was like, the Nuggets have obviously been winning pretty decently well. They had 1 close game and then the other 2 that have been, 20-point games or something along those lines. So I was like, Jake, do you think that they beat the Jazz by more? I think it was like 9.5. And he was like, no, I think it's going to be a close game. They won by 8. And I was like, thank you, Jake Shapiro. You just saved me some money right there. So I was really happy that they did it. But it wasn't a pretty game. But honestly, who cares? Who cares? It's game 4 out of 82. Nobody should care if it wasn't pretty. They're in the grind of the season, and they are getting the best out of every single team that plays against them. Everyone who goes in against the Nuggets is giving them their absolute A game. Also, can we talk really quick about the James Harden trade? I am so sick of hearing about James Harden. Oh my gosh. I saw this graphic this morning when I was on social media. The James Harden cycle. He goes to a team and he's like, oh my gosh, everything's great. Like, everybody, we love you. James Harden, you're going to be amazing for us. We're going to win so many titles, yada, 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 whatever it is. And then he lights it up in the regular season. The playoffs come around. He chokes in the big games. And then the team goes out, or he gets sad, and then he requests a trade. And it's just over and over and over again. I am so sick of hearing about James Harden. I'm like, please. And you know what? It's not going to matter. The Clippers aren't going to be any better. They're all I don't know, the average age of that team has to be in their 30 something. That's an old team now at this point. It's just okay, great. I'm so glad we had this giant move that happened at midnight tonight for James Harden. Whoop-de-doo. Big Halloween classic right there. On better news, the Joker got his 107th triple-double. 107th. Is that unheard of? For how long the Joker's been in the league? That's insane numbers right there, you guys. 107. He ties LeBron James and Jason Kidd for 4th place all time. Magic is 3rd with 138. And Michael Malone last night had one of the best lines. And he does. I got to give him credit. He is one of the best lines when he says, oh, so in 30 games, we'll be talking about this all over again, because he'll tie Magic or he'll beat Magic, whatever it is. And it's true. Is it crazy that Jokic getting a triple-double at this point, you're almost just let me, cross that off my bingo card? That's how good the Joker is. And Malone said this last night, too, in his press conference. He's like, I never take a day for granted that I get to watch Nikola Jokic play. And that's how I feel. And I think that's how so many people are playing. KCP, defensively, Aaron Gordon gave him a shout out too. You guys, he has been unreal. And we say this all the time. Defense wins championships. He has been absolutely electric, and it's been so fun to watch. And I know he's been getting the chain from Michael Malone every single night. I think he's literally 4 for 4. But that's how good his defense has been. They don't need somebody who's going to go out there and be this crazy shooter, because they've got plenty of other guys who can do that. They need somebody who's going to be that go-to defensive guy, and that is KCP. Real quick, too, on this, Jamal Murray. I have loved watching Jamal Murray continue to rise and shine and be great. 18 points last night, 4 rebounds, but 14 assists. We need to circle that right there. 14 assists for Jamal Murray. Here's the thing with Jamal. Everybody thought that he was going to go out there and he was just always going to be this shooter, right? He was always going to be the guy that got the ball. He was always going to do that. It has been so cool to see Jamal Murray's career continue to move and see this as now he's all right, let's hand the ball off. And I think this is Michael Malone, and we really need to give credit, where it's all about moving the ball, finding the best guy to it. It's not, oh, we're just going to give it to somebody. We're not going to just give it to a James Harden and then he's going to be sad if his numbers aren't great. No, they're constantly moving the ball around. Things are so good when it comes to Jamal Murray and how he's grown so much. And those assists, you guys, that's what you really, really love to see. I'm going to real quick want to obviously read some more of your guys' comments. Penner won't allow a trade. He's a transition shooter, KP. Want to keep reading. Sorry, you guys. You have so many comments today, so thank you so much. Keep them coming. Cavs were the last champions to start 3-0. I'm sorry. I did not answer that question for you guys yesterday. So thank you so much for that, Giovanni. Yes, the Cavs were the last team to start 3-0. Tell me this, too. Here's a really fun fact for everybody. The Nuggets have held the lead in 95.1% of their minutes played so far this season through through 4 games. They're the only team in the last 2 decades to lead for 95% or more of their minutes through the first 4 games of a season. Does anybody know the last team that was above a 90%? I'll give you a hint too as we do this. They won a title the year they did it. So let me know. I'm going to give you guys all just a quick second. And also we have to shout out King Supers, of course, because we love doing our King Supers pick'em. We didn't do it last week, you guys, and we're going to do it this week. I absolutely promise you that one. But we have to give a shout out. Dan Jacobs won this week for the fan pick'em. Huge shout out to him. I hope he enjoys his gift card. I hope he goes pick up some King Super sushi because they have the best sushi, you guys. Like for grocery store sushi, it is chef's kiss, to be completely honest. And now I'm thinking I'm going to get that for lunch. Did anybody guess the last team above 90%? Lakers, Warriors, nada. Neither. I'll give you a real quick hint. It's another powerhouse. Another powerhouse right there, you guys. I almost spilled my coffee on me. Any other guesses before I tell everybody? Any other guesses? Spurs? Nope. Oh, 2 people guessed the Spurs. No, it is the 2007-2008 Celtics, and they won the title that year too. So plenty of good stuff. You guys, this past 30 minutes went by so freaking fast. I cannot thank you all enough for just hanging with me on this Halloween. No news at the trade deadline. We've got 3 more hours until it's officially done. Nobody anticipates the phone picked up. And nobody's leaving the Denver Broncos team. Plenty more good stuff to talk about. Hopefully, we're talking about a healthy Cale Makar. There sounds like there's some rumblings. There's some things that could be happening. We'll get back into that tomorrow, too. I love you guys all. I hope you all have a wonderful Halloween, and we'll see you 10:30 tomorrow morning. Get back to work, everybody. We'll see you then. Bye.